Oh, what's up, guys? Let's do this. Right. All right. Good afternoon, guys. Today is Tuesday, November 1st, first day of November. It's currently 1:49 p.m. In, what is it, 10 minutes? We have FOMC funds rate or statement release. And then 30 minutes later, at 2:30, we have the press conference that will be the Fed Chair Powell that will be talking. So looking at the news right here, the expectation is, gee, what's the expected one? Okay, here, 5.5. So they're expecting it to forecast 5.5. So just maintaining. Okay. Yeah, so the 2 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. move should be a lot of manipulation, but the actual move happens at 2:30. So 2:30 p.m. when Fed Chair Powell is talking, that's when I actually expect the market to move. So before 2 p.m., so I want us to use today I want us to use the momentum indicator and the markups indicator. So not really the SAR strategy just yet. For the SAR strategy, I would want us to use it after 2:30 p.m. So right now we have my indicators. Just turn on the markups indicators. Let's start with that. So today, if you guys remember, I caught a sell at the very top, 33,262, and that was based off of the momentum strategy. So let's go over the momentum strategy real quick before the 2 p.m. move, because I want us to set some, to look at what price is going to do. So if you guys remember, if you've been on the live session, and I'd already done this markup, right? Critical area for sales, 33,277, because again, this was a valid sell. It wasn't the highest candle of this move to the upside. The previous 1 to 3 candles had rejected off of an SAR level. And you can see today when price got to that area, it rejected exactly there. So I want us to mark up 33,277. Just put that as an alert. And if you look at the markups indicator, you see we had a 4-hour bearish high around that zone. So personally, at around 33,277, I'll add an alert for US 30 and what is it called? I'll call it daily momentum. So I want you guys to see what price is going to do around those areas. So daily momentum sell at around that area, because I also want to turn off the indicators. But keep in mind, we also have a 4-hour bearish order block around that zone. And if you also check here, our daily bias, US 30 is bearish, gold is bullish, EU is bullish. However, you can see this daily candle might close below this live SAR. So tomorrow we might be bearish for EU. But right now, until this daily candle closes, we're still bullish, or personally, I'm still bullish on EU. The US dollar is bullish. So mark up that area for US 30, 33,277. I do see it as a heavy selling area. Okay, let's look at the other order blocks we have. We have a daily bullish low at 33,921. So personally, I'll go ahead and put an order block, an alert here, 33,925.24 area. So let's see, add an alert. So this is a daily bullish low. So I've created an alert there. So when price gets here, we should get that alert. So we have an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low, but we also have an hourly bullish high. So because those two order blocks are opposite of each other, they cancel out. So I'm not really worried about the hourly order blocks around this zone. Okay, next we turn on the zones indicator. So we have, you can see we have buyers around that zone, which is where US 30 rejected from this morning and went up. And also we have sellers at the very top, which is the place I sold US 30. If you guys saw the screenshots in the group, I sold US 30 at the top here. So at this point, I'm done with the markups. I don't need the markups indicator for now. I know we have sellers at the top there. We have buyers at the bottom. So those are the two zones. So price has already, what I realized, pre-New York, maybe somewhere around 7:30 a.m., price normally shows you the ranges it's going to test for the day. So right now, what I'm seeing for price is that it's giving us the sell area for the day. And here it's giving us the buy area for the day. So at this point, I go ahead and turn that off, turn off the markups indicator, and then I'll now turn on the momentum indicator. So right now, I don't need the SARs just yet. So we're not going to use the SARs just yet. So I'll go ahead and turn off the SARs. I want to use the SARs after Powell speaks. So right now we'll just be using the momentum indicator. So next we go to gold. Gold on the daily time frame using the momentum strategy, because for now we're only using the momentum strategy until 2:30. We have 5 more minutes. If we go to gold right here, same thing for US 30, same thing that happened for US 30. But if you guys look at gold on the daily time frame, again, this is a zone I had marked up. Critical area for buys, 1963.2. It was the low of this buy candle. Again, this was a valid buy. It wasn't the lowest candle of the retracement. The previous 1 to 3 candles had rejected off of an SAR. So this is 1963. So 1963.3. So I'll go ahead here and put 1963. Oh, I already have it in there. So 19, for me, it's like 1964.243, but it should be like 1963.3. Okay, that's perfect. How many more minutes do we have? 4 more minutes. So that's only for buys for gold. Sells for gold, there's no valid. Actually, never mind. This previous sell was a valid sell right here, 1983 area for gold. That's another price point. So 1983, I'm also setting an alert for that was the last. If we look at this, I know I haven't been looking for sells on gold, so which is why I want to make sure that this is valid. 19, yep, it's a valid sell. It wasn't the highest candle. Okay, perfect. So on gold here, I'll put in daily at 1983, daily sell momentum stepped in. So daily sell momentum 1983. Okay, so now for gold, I have my 2 zones. Now, I want to turn on the markups indicators. I want to see what order blocks we have around here. Now, we do have a 4-hour bullish high and low around the 1972. Bullish high, 4-hour bullish high 1972, 4-hour bullish low 1968. Man, people be calling you when you're in this crazy streams. Okay, we have an hourly bullish high, hourly bullish low. And then we have an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low. So at this point, they both cancel out. So if you have the markups indicators, you can go in there and turn it off because they cancel out. But for me, that's just extra work. But you can see at the top here at 2000, 2000 and 1992, we do have 4-hour bearish order blocks. I don't think for now they're critical. Yesterday, we did have a sell at the top at around 2005, 2007. However, this sell on gold is invalid because the previous candle had not rejected off of an SAR level. So I'm not really, you can still, if you guys want, the last sell momentum on gold was at 2006. Personally, I don't consider it a valid. I would have wanted to see price rejecting off of an SAR level here, but unfortunately, we did not have an. But I love this sell setup. But again, you have to follow all the rules. Now, if you're trading today, make sure you're using proper risk management. You're using TP and stop loss. Do not chase any move. At the very least, learn how the market moves today, and then just use that going forward. Man. Okay. All right. So we have a few more minutes before the market opens. I'm not really going to look at EU. So right now I go ahead and turn off the markups indicator real quick. Wait, let me see the zones. We have buys down there for gold. Okay, perfect. Turn off the markups. Turn on the momentum. I'm not interested in the SAR right now because we're not trading the SAR strategy for this FOMC up until 2:30 p.m. So what I would expect if price comes here and rejects off of this zone, I would be looking to sell. Again, this is and I today I'll be using 0.25% risk, doing like 1:2 risk to rewards. I'm not going to be using my normal 0.75%. Well, I might use, but for you guys, if you do choose to take the trades that I take, use a 0.25% risk. So watch those areas that I've drawn up right there. So ideally here, what you'd be looking for, and you want rejections off of this zone. So it's don't sell like on impulse. So that would be that. So these are the setups I'm looking for in those zones that I've given you guys. And keep in mind, if FOMC today is a dud, NFP will be crazy. We have NFP on Friday. So if you guys were on the stream, I think it was Monday, I said that it's either one of the two will be slow. So if FOMC today is slow, just know if FOMC today is slow, just know NFP will be crazy. If FOMC is crazy today, NFP on Friday will ideally be slow. US 30. So all my trades are 1:2 risk to rewards. US 30, 50 pips stop loss, 100 pips TP. Gold 30 pips stop loss, 60 pips TP. So we're just waiting for price to get. So long as price does not get to this zone, I'm not looking to trade in between this zones. So remember for US 30, we know that here this is a daily bullish low, so it's a daily order block which rarely comes by. The top here, this is where we have the daily sell momentum that stepped in. And also we have a 4-hour bearish high right there. For gold, this was, what was it? This was the daily buy momentum that stepped in. And 1983 was the last daily sell momentum that stepped in. So we'll see what happens between those two. All right. As that, I was expecting like a nice spike to the upside. So what I'll also do, I had, give me 1 second. Well, I don't know if this is gonna carry over. Um, let's see. I want to see if I can bring back I had a chart that had the SARs. Okay, yeah, these are the SARs. That's for US 30. Because I was, oh. For gold, okay. Gold might be. So the charts that I'm pulling up are just for the SAR strategies. So let's stick with this two for now. Let me bring this here. All All right. Since this is not moving too much. Okay, here for the SAR strategy, see. This is the 15-minute time frame. So this is a test and rejection on the 15-minute time frame. Let me mark this up. So we might have to default back to the SAR strategy. With the momentum strategy, I wanted us to trade that quick spike up and down, but unfortunately the FOMC at 2 p.m., we didn't have a big spike up and down. So this is possible test and rejection buy. I'm sorry, test and rejection sell. And now this is a double sell SAR zone on the 15-minute time frame. This was the test candle. This is the rejection candle. If that rejection candle closes below there, that would be, we have 10 minutes before that candle closes, but I'll just mark this up. So you need the current 15-minute candle to close below 33,141. So again, we have 10 minutes before that happens. We have a possible test and rejection at the top, so nothing major. Let's see here. There might be. Okay. Now here, if you guys can see it, this is a test and rejection entry on the 30-minute time frame. So this candle is your test candle. So if you guys can see this top SAR and this bottom SAR, just want to make sure. Okay. This top SAR and this bottom SAR, this was your test candle, and then this was your rejection candle. So let's forget about the other 15-minute setup just for now. So currently, there's this setup right here that would have hit stop loss. However, a red flag of this trade would be it happened during a little bit before before news happened. So right now, what I would be curious about is to go down to the 1-minute time frame. I remove the extensions on my, and bear with me if I'm going too fast, but so right here on the 1-minute time frame, I would be looking for 2 consecutive candle closures. So keep in mind on the 30-minute time frame, we have a validated test and rejection entry, but we wouldn't, of course, have entered it upon candle closure because that was literally before news was released. And if you did, that's when you had this spike to the upside. So when we do see red flags like those, we normally say drop down to the 1-minute or 5-minute timeframes and look for an entry there. So right now, what I would want to see, I don't think we're going to get it on this red SAR right here. So what I would want to see is 2 1-minute candles closing below a live 1-minute SAR. So for example, what happened here? So you see, I'm waiting for this red SAR to be formed, and I need 2 candles to close below it. So keep in mind, this trade is based off of a 30-minute SAR that validated. But of course, there was a red flag of entering it on candle closure. In terms of gold, so gold had a test and rejection. This is the 15-minute time frame. Gold had a test and rejection entry here. Test and rejection for buys. If price starts spiking around when I'm not on the other chart, let me know. So test and rejection for buys. The entry would have been there, but of course, this entry would have been overextended. It's not an entry I would have advised, I would have even taken, because your entry relative to your SARs would have been like 100% of your stop loss. But normally what we do, if we are waiting for a retracement, we draw where somebody who entered on candle closure would be at a 1:1 risk to reward, meaning they would set the trade at break even. So for this trade, the person who entered in, not caring about overextension, at this point, this trade would be at break even. So we go ahead and forget about that trade on that level. So that was a 15-minute zone. If we go down to the other 15-minute zone is where we have a bunch of zones here. The other 15-minute zone is 1, 2. We don't have a current 15-minute zone set up. So we go down to the 30-minute. So 30-minute right here, we have a test and rejection entry. So you can see this double buy SAR zone. So this is your test candle. This is your continuation candle. Again, we see for somebody who did not care about overextension, would they have achieved a 1:1 risk to reward for this trade? If not, it's a trade we can wait for retracement. So for this particular trade, the person who entered it would have already achieved a 1:1 risk to reward. Yes. So at this point, we go ahead and delete this setup as well. So nothing on the SAR strategy for gold on that setup. There was also another test and rejection entry based off of this double SAR. So nothing. I don't think for gold today we'll get an SAR setup. Maybe after Powell starts speaking. So we go back to US 30. So this is the only potential trade setup we might get. Let me go back to the 15-minute time frame just for 1 second because I didn't check the 30-minute setups as well here. So we are waiting for a 1-minute setup. So just a second. So we know in the next 14 minutes also we have, let me mark up this zone real quick, just because I'm gonna go down to the 1-minute time frame. So if US 30 in the next 4 or 5 minutes closes below this zone, this will be a valid 15-minute entry. There's no other zone. This zone price opened and closed up within it, so nothing else on the 30-minute time frame. That's the one we dropped down to the 1-minute time frame. Okay, so US 30, it's either that 1-minute entry, or in the next 4 minutes we need price to close below that blue line that I have. So if in the next 4 minutes, which is like 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if price closes below this blue line, we know that the 15-minute test and rejection, this one that I've lined up here, would shift from a possible test and rejection, but we need the candle to close like next here. I don't want, if the candle closes like far away from this blue line, again, I'll have to wait for retracement on the 1-minute time frame. All right, so you can see for the momentum stuff, so the 2 p.m. didn't really do much. I wish we had touched this zone. So you can see that 1983 zone, we do have some critical selling pressure, but I would have wanted like a test of this zone. So I just need a test of any of these zones, and then that's when I'll be looking to enter the trades. So at this point, we just have to be patient. So either here we get two candles closing below a live 1-minute SAR, or to get in the next 4 minutes price closing below this blue zone, at which point we'll know that the test and rejection entry on the 15-minute candle is valid. If you guys have questions about any other instruments as we wait for that to happen, feel free to let me know. 4-hour time frame. Nope. Invalid. Invalid. Man, I thought FOMC would be more exciting. I don't know if anybody caught that sell at the top. I know Audrey did. I don't know if anybody else. For you guys who come to the live session, I don't know if you guys had, because I told you guys to set like an alert at that price point a few days back. But I think eventually we'll get this gold buy right here. I think eventually we'll get this buy on gold, because that's the only, to me, this is the A+ setups, the A+ setup, the 1963 buy on gold. I think that's the best setup of all the setups that we have right now. All right. So in 54 seconds, the 15-minute candle will close below. Looks like it might be closing below. So at this point, for that 15-minute candle, if it closes anywhere below this blue line, yes, the trade is valid, but will I take it? No, because I need this 15-minute candle to close just next to the blue line. I don't want it closing like too far away. If it closes too far away, that's fine. What I'll do, I'll just wait for retracement on my part. If you guys want to take it, yes, it's valid. And you can see we are developing I'll just go back to it. We are developing a possible sell momentum. So I don't know if it's going to close with that sell momentum. But at this point, this shifts from yeah. So the trade is valid. If you guys have any confluences for it, you can take it. But for me, I'm gonna wait because of overextension. But then I need to mark up the person who just entered the trade. I need to know at what point they'll set break even, because my hope is that price comes back and gives me an entry on the 1 minute time frame before giving this person a 1:1 risk to reward. So the idea, if you took the trade, or if you're in the trade, if you achieve a 1:1 risk to reward, go ahead and set break even. And just because I'm not entering the trade does not mean that the trade is just, it's just my rule. My rule is that if price closes too far away from the SAR zones I'm trading, like here, for example, if you're to enter the trade, the SAR zones I know are right here, right? So your entry relative to the SAR zones are like 80% or 90% of your stop loss. So to me, that is a red flag, but to some other people, that might not be a red flag. So if that's a red flag to you, then just wait here, or just wait like me. I'm waiting also on the 1 minute. So also keep in mind, we also can enter the other 30-minute test and rejection that we are waiting on the 1 minute entry for. So whether you choose to wait, whether you choose to enter, just make sure you're using proper risk management. But today, if I do take any trade, the risk that I would advise you guys to use is 0.25% risk. So that's like $500 on a 200K account, and that's like $250 on a 100K account. And again, right, this is when I say, for me, the preference is to wait, because a lot of times I've seen price retracing back before coming back into profit. So I'm almost sure US 30 is going to drop. But the question is, the reason you want to wait is because you want to avoid fake outs. Because we've been in situations in the past where we entered a trade when it was overextended, and price came back, hit our stop loss, and then literally came back and hit, would have gone to full TP. So when I say the patience game is just, a matter of, I've seen us getting burnt before in some of these trades. And I just want to be safe with them. Steven's making, yeah, for you guys, if you guys have heart rate monitors, just make sure you have them plugged in. Right. So you can see that, like, if we had entered this trade, we would be what, like 60% in drawdown. So this is just that importance of just being patient. And so right now, my hope is that US 30 keeps pumping, because if it keeps pumping, what it's showing me is that it's faking out, or it's stop hunting people. So I would actually prefer for US 30 to keep pumping right now, because my expectation would be, and normally when Fed Chair Powell speaks, US 30 goes up just in general. But of course, that's not every day. But I would like for US 30 to keep pumping right now, Because if you guys remember the previous FOMC, and I only remember it because of gold, gold actually kept pumping up even before the 2:30 press conference. And then when Fed Chair Powell started speaking, that thing reversed all the way to like 1812 or whatnot. So actually right now, if I'm looking for sales, I don't want this 1 minute validation to come just yet. Also, we are about to enter that point where Powell will be speaking in 11 minutes. So I really don't want to get that 1 minute validation just yet. I would want US 30 to keep pumping and pumping and then have that possible reversal. So remember, we have that zone for US 30, 33 to 73. I still expect this zone to be a nice or critical selling area for US 30. So I'm just hoping we don't get that validation just yet until he starts speaking. So for gold we didn't. So personally, I'm biased for buys on gold because that's what I'm looking for. 1983.9. 83.9. This would be 82.9. So this is also a double by SAR. Right. So again, I don't enter on impulse. You always want to wait for that confirmation, but you'll see that rejection that's happening here. So for me, I'm not like I don't enter trades on impulse. The only one I would enter on impulse probably is this one, like 233, 273. But these others, because remember, the ones I would rather enter on impulse are the momentum setups, especially the ones that are created by daily candles, because what that's telling you is that that's where the sellers or that's where the buyers stepped in on the daily time frame. But if I'm trading the SAR, remember, for me, I never mix the SAR strategy with the momentum strategy. They are two different strategies that have two different rules. So you really don't want to mix anything, or you really don't want to FOMO in any trade. And you can see for this one, the person who entered in on candle closure, as much as that trade was valid, red flag was that the entry was so overextended from the SAR zones traded. So at this point, I go ahead and delete this markup because this person, the market did not give him a 1:1 and actually took him out at break even. I'm sorry, at stop loss. All right, give me one quick second. I have to step away real quick. So just watch that 1 minute entry. I have to step away real quick. All right, my bad, guys. Receiving a package at the door. All right, so this is exactly what I want, right? I want US 30 to keep pumping, especially before Powell speaks. I want the Dow to keep pumping. So now keep in mind, now that we have that reversal to the upside, the 1 minute time. So we were waiting for a 1 minute entry on that 30-minute validation. And now we are also waiting on a 1 minute entry for that 15-minute validation. So that 1 minute entry will validate both or will be the entry for both the 15-minute and 30-minute test and rejection entries or setups. So here with the zones we'd marked up, the buy zones and sell zones for both gold and US 30, none of those zones have been touched. But you can see, based off of where US 30 is headed, it's coming back to that zone again. So I think once Powell speaks, we might see that spike up and possible reversal. So in the past, when Powell starts speaking at 2:30, in the first, what is it? In the first 5 to 10 minutes, that's when I see a good amount of manipulation. But from like 2:45, 3:15, 2:45, 3 p.m. and 3:15 timeframes, they normally have some good setups for the move. So right now, even if we were to get an entry for this 1 minute sell or 1 minute entry for US 30, I wouldn't be taking that trade, unfortunately, because it's 2:27 p.m. and Powell should be speaking anytime from now. But let's just watch the price action. So at this point, I'll move away from the SAR entries. So we don't have any SAR entry or markup for gold. We're not really trading EU today. So no SAR markup for gold, no SAR markup. There's an possible SAR entry for US 30. But again, remember, I want us to use the SAR strategy after Powell starts speaking. But before then, let's use the momentum strategy, or let's use the momentum indicator and watch for the daily sell area at 33,278 and the buy area at 33,924 for US 30. The sell area for gold is 1983. The sell area is 1983. The buy area is 1963. But this one right here, this is my best setup right here, 1963. So I would like for gold either to pick up sell liquidity here. If I miss this sell, I'll definitely catch this buy later on. But this is out of all the setups that I have for you guys today, the buy on gold at 1963.4 or 0.3, that is my ideal entry. My second best, I think, is this US 30 sell that I'd also taken at the top here early this morning. All right, so let's see what the release was. Yeah, so another reason the FOMC was a little bit of a dud was, you can see they just maintained it, right? So 5.5, the previous one was 5.5. The current one is 5.5. So I think the last one, the last one had a huge effect because the previous one was 5.25 and then they increased it to by 0.25. But for this one, they've just kept the rates constant. So I think what he would be talking about today, if they haven't raised, so remember, one of the major reasons they're raising or they've been raising interest rates is to control inflation. So if they haven't raised any interest rates, what that would mean is that the inflation target is where they would want it to be. So they don't really see inflation being a major factor going forward. And now how you interpret that in the markets is that so inflation, let me look at my journal because I always confuse. So, because there's a correlation to how price moves for inflation. Let's see. Mm. Inflation increase is a negative for stocks and positive for the US dollar. So if they haven't raised interest rates, it means that inflation to them is not going to be increasing as people are expecting. So if inflation decrease would be a positive for stocks. So we might be seeing a pump up in the Dow or indices for the rest of the year, which for me, if you guys know, that has been my major expectation, right? I'm still expecting US 30 to pump up to create a new all-time high before the end of the year and create a new yearly high. So personally, for me, I'm still expecting US 30 to create a new all-time high during the year. So yeah, so if they do see inflation not being a thing, then you should see an uptick in the movement of stocks and indices in general. Regarding gold, how that affects like gold or the US dollar, inflation increase is so negative for the US dollar. So you might also start seeing, so you might see gold pumping up and the dollar coming back down. So I think he started speaking. Man, today's session is just but you can see gold, that zone in gold still has like some resistance, right? 1983. All right. So let's give it like 3 more minutes. So in 3 minutes, it should be 5 minutes after he started speaking. So the majority of the things he talks about, it's in the first 5 to 10 minutes. So you guys should start seeing some movement right here. There's a possible break and continuation for gold on the 15-minute time frame. Let me see what time frame this little one is. Uh, nope, that's 15 minutes to just a second. Okay. So here we have two possible break and continuation setups. So the break candle has not validated yet, but break and continuation buy. So this is another possible setup for gold, but this one would validate at 3 p.m. Also keep in mind, personally, I don't trade at 3 p.m. Going forward between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. But this is a possible buy setup of gold. But this one will either validate or invalidate at 3 p.m. So that's one setup on gold. Right. So none of this have reached where we want them to. Ah, man, this is too slow. All right. Also, remember, right? What the wicks tell you. So I always tell you guys, wicks normally tell you a story. So here we are starting to get rejection to the downside. The reason for that, if you remember, here we do have a 4-hour bearish order block. So we have a 4-hour bearish high here, and we have a 4-hour bearish low. So if they're supposed to, if US30 is supposed to dump up, they will take out this order block out. So stop hunt people, because ideally, if you think about it, if you're trading any of these order blocks, where would your stop loss be? So if you're in sales, a good amount of retail traders would have the stops below the above the previous high. So what I would like to see is to see this high, previous high, where I'd sold US30 this morning, get taken out, and then a reversal back to the downside. So what I would expect here is for them to take out that high. But the reason we're having rejection here, we do have a 4-hour bearish order block here. So again, you don't have to, wait until I say I'm buying or selling, because I just may not have any setups for today. But if you guys have any confluences for sales on US30, so keep in mind, personally, I'm looking for sales on US30 for now. We do have a 4-hour bearish order block. Also, if you turn on the zones indicator, we have nothing but sellers here. But now that we even see this at 33,400, we do have a daily bullish order block. But if I were to take sales, I would make sure my stop loss is somewhere about 33,400, because if US30 breaks 33,400, it will tap into this daily bullish order block and then spike to the upside. So if I were to take any sales right here, minus what I normally do, because for me, my stop loss is 50 pips, regardless of where I'm entering in. But if I say had other confluences and I was in a sell right now, I would make sure my stop loss is either 33,345 or above, or maybe 33,418 if I was in a sell right now. That's where I would want my stop loss to be. And assuming you don't trade with like a 50 pip stop loss like I do. All right, so you can see we created a live. So at this point, personally, I would get into a live 1 minute SAR. So you can see here, we did create the live 1 minute SAR, but we didn't have any candle closures below it. So at this point, so it's already what, 8 minutes after 2:30 p.m. So most of what he's the important things he's saying at this point should have already kicked into the market. So the market right now should be picking up liquidity and heading to where it's supposed to head. So here, if this, so let's see where this candle closes. But keep in mind, I would need 2 1-minute candles to close below here. But I told you guys, right? You see all these wicks. These wicks were telling you a story. These wicks were telling you that there was heavy suppression of price down here. If this candle closes, so we had the first candle closure, then there's this other candle closure. If this candle closes, I would want it to close slightly below this SAR. So like, for example, at this level, if it closes there, I would be looking to sell US30 with a 0.25% risk, 50 pips stop loss, 100 pips TP. So whether or not you decide to use 0.5%, right, it's up to you, but just make sure not to over leverage. So I think NFP is going to be have better moves or better spikes to the upside or downside, because FOMC was just terrible. Okay, let's see. 2, 1. Let's see. I want to see where it closes. I'm in the trade right now. So the trade slipped up for me, but let's see where that goes. So if you achieve a 1:1 risk to reward set break even, right? So right here, 1:1, you need to mark up where that is. So it should be 50 pips. So go ahead. I'm setting, this thing is moving so fast. I'm setting break even. My trade is at break even right now. And this should be break even. So, right, you can see the importance of patience. This is when we didn't jump into the trade, like at first, we could have gotten stopped out if we did. But right now we are risk-free. Personally, I entered with a bigger lot size. So, but if it does hit TP, I'll just count the 0.5 risk that I asked you guys to take with. Come on. And by bigger, I just mean, I just went with my regular risk, 0.75%. And let's see, it already achieved that. Just need more momentum. There it is. So this is the 4-hour bearish order block kicking in. This is the order block that's kicking. That's why you always want to trade in the direction of smart money. I'm almost at TP. I'm up 2,000, 2,200, 2,300, 25. Come on, almost there. So yeah, I got slipped up in the trade. So for me, I'm still in the position. But the trade has hit full TP right there. 2,700, 28, 26. Come on, give me my money. So for me, it's always either break even, TP, or stop loss. And that's how you learn to trust your trade as a or to trust your setup as a trader. So if you hopped in on the closure of the candle, for me, I waited a little bit because sometimes this candles fluctuate. But if you entered in on the candle closure, you should be at TP. If you're still in the trade like me, the trade should hit TP. I came like 0.1 pips away from TP. Oh my God. And that's how you do FOMC. Anyway, let's see what this will do. See gold. I wish gold tapped here. So you can see that rejection, right? You can see that unfortunately gold did not come in there, but that's fine for me. I'll just wait for gold down here. So here, that US30 trade, if you took it, that's a 1% gain, just like that. Personally, I'm still in it. It took a while before the trade executed. So remember, even when you're taking or when you're trading, especially during this volatile market movements, sometimes your trade might take a while to fill or before it fills. But for me, I just really wanted to make sure that the candle closed below that zone. Actually, we are done with October. So today is November. So as much as for me, if I win the trade, I'm up I actually make 1.5%. But because I told you guys to get into the trade, I said what? 0.25. What did I say? 0.5 or 0.25? Do you guys remember? Did I say 0.25 or 0.5?
You said 2.5. You said if we wanted to do 0.5, we could.
Oh, okay. All right. So this starting of November, official trades with just a 0.5% gain. But if you're dumb like me and you're still in the trade, we'll see. But the trade already hit full TP. So whether even you entered on this candle, like on the candle open, but if you're still in the trade like me, I still do expect US30 to drop from here. So you can see that 1983. So this is some of those times I normally tell you guys, don't let like 0.1 pips keep you away from a trade. But here you can see we were 1982.3, 1983. 82.3. That was actually 0.7 pips. Anyway, it is what it is. But keep an eye out on 1960. Again, this is my A plus setup. The same way I took a sell on US 30 from the top, this is my A plus setup right here, the gold trade. How many people took that US 30 trade? And hopefully you guys got out of the trade.
I took an EU sell instead. I got 1% on it because I was in a sell before news was coming, and it stopped me out. Because I was trailing a stop because news was coming. So once I seen all those wicks for buys coming back down, I just used price action and jumped back in the sell.
Nice one. Okay, so now let us look for the SAR entries. I don't want to delete this just yet, but I also, you know what? Never mind. So I'll go back to the 15-minute time frame, same difference. Bring back my SARs. Also, I'll go back to the 15 minutes. So let's start seeing what we have. So what setup is forming here on the 15-minute time frame? Same zone, but what setup is forming? We are forming a break and continuation entry. I can delete this blue line because it met its purpose. I want to hold this US 30. I feel like trailing my stop. I think this shit is gonna melt back to the daily bullish order block. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Because I know it's coming back down. It's gonna break all these wicks. See. What I'll do, let's see. I'm just observing. But here, if you guys are seeing this, so on the 15-minute time frame, that's 15 minutes. The one below it is 30 minutes. I want to make sure I'm getting everything. That's a 30 minutes. So we have a 30-minute setup. US 30 is gonna flush. What I'll do personally, since my stop is I extended my stop loss. I'm sorry, my take profit. And then what I'll do, I'll trail my stop loss to where the stop was supposed to be. My TP I extended, and of course this is not gonna count because this shit is gonna flash all the way down. So I needed to close below this wicks. There it is. And now I'm gonna trail my stop loss to where my TP was. I think I can milk like 6 grand from this trade. Not yet. Drop. So full TP on that. So whether you held with me or whether you were in the trade initially, and this thing is, I needed to break this. If it breaks there, I just needed to break and close. Let's go to the 5-minute. So that also, come on, I needed to break so that I can trail my stop where my TP was. So full TP on US 30, whether you held with me or not. Personally, I want to write this thing all the way back down, but I just need let's see. They had a little trouble closing below those wicks. It's gonna flush though. Anyway, I'm sorry. So there's a trade setup that's lining up. Right here, we have a 30-minute double sell SAR zone right there. But to take that trade, we would need another 30-minute candle. So I'm not really looking for 30-minute trades for now. So 15-minute trades, we have a double sell SAR right there. So yeah, so this would be a break and continuation. I trailed my stop a little bit below break even. I may get taken out. Okay, I got taken out of US 30. I just made $400. But this thing is still going to, I think it's going to drop. Now here on the 15-minute time frame, so we already took profit on the test and rejection entry. Here, if you guys can see, this is this zone right here. This zone is a double, it's actually a triple or quadruple 15-minute sell SAR. Now what I'll do here, this is a possible break and continuation. So you guys should already be up 0.5%, 1%, whatever you chose to risk. Break and continuation sell. And then here, the entry would be here. US 30. See, and it literally, my, that's so funny. My trailing stop was a little bit below break even and it got taken out right there. So this candle will close in the next 7 minutes. In the next 7 minutes, where do I want this candle to close? I want it to close like right here. I don't want it to close here. I don't want it to close anywhere it is right now. But the way the US 30 is about to flush to the downside, I'm not sure we're going to get that entry. I think US 30 is just going to keep tanking. But I would want US 30 to come back up and give us this entry. So this would be a break and continuation of a sell SAR. But anyway, we have 7 minutes for that. Let me send this real quick. Mm-hmm. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask as we wait. So we have 7 minutes before the next trade either validates or invalidates. Again, it's going to be 3 p.m. I don't trade between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but in the past, I've seen like the one we got, those times, 2:45 p.m., 3 p.m., 3:15 p.m. in the past during the FOMC meetings that have the news conference, you normally have good setups around that time. Was it 0.5? It's reflection. What number? I this mechanical. Okay, Livy. What's happening here? I need to keep this on because I'll review it. I'll do a recap for it. So here I go back and extend my SARs. Also, I became dumb and traded. What did I trade? I took the gold. I took a gold trade before FOMC, actually a little bit before. And I was I actually lost that trade too. But I was up. I started the day like minus 1,500. I took a win for US 30, the sell I took at the top. And then I was up 1,500. And then I lost the 1,500 taking a gold buy before FOMC. But now I know never again. I thought it was too, I mean, for that, it's that gold buy that I'd sent in the trade ideas. and I'd said that I was staying out of the market, but this trade like literally got stopped out and gold came back all the way, and I think it even would have hit full TP. So when I normally tell you guys about patience, it's because of times like this, when sometimes even for me, I mean, the trade was valid, and I was even waiting on I even waited on the 1 minute time frame. So I was, even looking back, I would have still taken the same trade. But sometimes during news sometimes doesn't care about strategies and all. So you might still get faked out during news. So like for me right now, I'm only up 400, like that US 30 that I tried to trail. I'm actually up 500, but still
Yeah,
still
patience is
money.
like the biggest hurdle for me to jump right now. Patience and over trading.
Yeah. Are you still trading before New York?
Today I didn't, but I should have just waited till news was done because once news was done is when I made most of the money, or right
Yeah.
before news started. So the first news that came, I think 10 o'clock was it? I should
Mhm.
have waited till after that.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting until 9:30 for before I even look at the charts, so I don't get tricked into anything.
Yeah, because even for me, this loss I took on EU, I took the trade like at 7:30. And if I waited, actually, I think even Audrey, you took that trade. If we had waited, because EU did the same thing, EU faked out and then went back, like would have given a break even or something. So, and I think I was trading, and that was the momentum strategy. Yeah. So we have 2 minutes. So what I would like here in the next 2.5 minutes, I want them to push this trade or this current 15-minute candle down. I'm sorry, I deleted that. Current 15-minute candle down to close to give us this entry. But also, if US 30 wants to keep pumping up, guess what? We do have a sell area, right? Remember, we have this setup. So we still have this setup right here. Where was that? So we have 2.5
I think it might
minutes.
dance around and give you that A1 setup tomorrow.
Yeah, for gold. Because they already showed where they want to go. Because keep in mind, this moves happened after Powell spoke. So that move that happened, that to me shows the direction the market is gonna go. And I think right now they're just stop hunting people. So in the next 2.5 or 1.5 minutes, the best thing I would like to see here is for them to push US 30 back down. Because what that would tell you is that the sellers got engaged, and then it gives us this entry. If it doesn't, well and good. And at the very least, at least we are up for the day. So doesn't, unless gold's, I think gold will just range and then just head in one direction. US 30, I do see this setup coming into play. Okay. But when I tell you, I will that US 30, I am just waiting on that like this. I was almost, I had like a 99% problem because I can normally tell when some of these instruments are going to flash. So this, I'm hoping we get that. But here now, when US 30 gets to 276, I do not advise, I'll show you guys what to do. When it gets to 276, I do not advise you to go to enter in on impulse. I would want to go down to the 1 minute time frame and get a momentum entry on like the 1 minute or 5 minute time frame, because I do see them faking out So what's that? 276. They can go all the way to 326 where our stop loss is. So if you guys have traded with me, our stop loss is normally ideal. What I use, whether it's for gold, whether it's for US 30. Rarely will any of our trades, let me not use the word rarely. Not a lot of times where our stop loss will be taken and price keeps going in the direction of the stop loss. Normally, the bias that we normally have, whether it's the daily bias, it's normally pretty straightforward and pretty nice. Because even for EU today, the trade I got taken out, EU reversed and came back up. Remember, all we need to get is like a 1:1 risk to reward so that we set break even. Break even does not mean that you lost a trade, does not mean you won a trade, but it's just a safe bet. So we're not like looking to ride 1,000 pip move or whatever. So most of the times, even though the stop losses get hit, most of the times it's a fake out and price normally, even the times when we are being safe. So here, price has gotten to that area. So what I would want to do right now, I'll go down to the 1 minute time frame, and then I want to now this point, I'll extend my SARs. Remember this, and there goes the alert, right? Remember, this is the momentum strategy. This is not the SAR strategy. So I know I don't extend my SARs on the 1 minute for the SAR strategy, but with the momentum strategy, yes. Because remember, with the momentum strategy, you need a candle or the previous 1 to 3 candles to reject off of an SAR. And you also need the sell candle, the candle that gives you the sell signal, to not have the candle that gives you the sell signal, the previous 1 to 3 candles, any of the previous 1 to 3 candles of the candle that has given you a signal to have rejected off of an SAR. So that is the reason where here on the 1 minute time frame, I am extending my SARs. And also you can see, this is the reason I told you guys, do not enter in on impulse, right? Because, and you can see how big these candles are moving. So what we need here is for them to finish faking out price right here. And then we need them to bring price back down here. So whatever they want to do, let them keep pumping US 30. And then they bring price back down here. And in this zone, we get that sell signal to ride price to TP. So ignore all the sell signals that have been printed. And again, US 30 hasn't been here for a while. So we don't have any 1 minute SARs in this zone because remember, US 30 hasn't been here in a while and it's past the 500 candle threshold. And if you guys remember, this is similar to that US 30 trade I had taken personally on Monday, where yes, I took a trade on the 1 minute time frame in an area where US 30 hadn't been. And price almost went to stop loss, but it came down and actually would have ended up hitting full TP. But what I learned in that trade, whether it's the 15-minute, whether it's the 30-minute time frame, always make sure that the previous 1 to 3 candles are rejecting off of an SAR. So if I type in, if you guys remember the momentum strategy, this is a bit too big, or I'm looking for a simpler one. Nope. Okay. Let me write it down here. So momentum strategy. Requirement number 1, signal candle shouldn't move.
No, sorry, but
Huh?
everything else valid, but no SAR, right?
Yep, everything. Yeah, like this sell signal, this is, yeah. Now, what invalidates this is, I wish we had an SAR right here, an SAR right here. That would be valid, but right there, just because of that, it is invalid. But keep in mind, we are in an area where sellers stepped in. If you do, right, it's, for me, it's just a risky trade. You can have the confluence of this is where the sellers stepped in, but the reason you want a rejection off of an SAR is because it's going to act in this point. It would act like as a resistance point, right? An area to hold price down. But price can still come. So remember, it's not that there are no SARs per se. It's only because based off of trading views limitations, The SARS cannot extend this far. Signal candle shouldn't be the highest or lowest candle over a move or retracement. Second requirement is previous 1 to 3 candles before the signal candle. Either of the previous 1 to 3 candles before the signal candle should have rejected off on SAR. Can be a single SAR. What's the third one? The third one is, so shouldn't be the high. Why am I blanking? Oh, yes. Any time frame below the daily time frame. Any time frame below the daily time frame, apply the moving average filter. This buys MA and sells back. All right, so momentum strategy. So I'll save this as, so I already know we have a momentum strategy. The other one is dips. I'll call it momentum strategy simplified. Simple. So you can see at this area, we do have reject. So those are it's 3 simple rules. To me, save for the SAR strategy, to me, which is my top strategy. The momentum strategy is the second best. Ideally, also because it gives you buy and sell signals, and it has filters in the indicator that filters out based off of moving average, etc. So I think this is one of the best strategies that I do have. To me, it's the second best. I still love my SAR strategy. Now here, where US 30 is going, we do have a zone up here. 360, we have, I think this might be a 30-minute zone. So for US 30, wait, 317, 92. Nope, that's not a double. It's way more than 20 pips, the difference. Where the hell did I? Oh, yeah, we have a 30-minute zone all the way up there. But anyway, for this zone to validate either a test and rejection or break a continuation, you would have to wait like maybe an hour or 2 hours. Speaking of hourly timeframes, give me one sec. Okay, so this trade setup, again, invalidated. But if gold wants to keep dropping, well and good. Okay, wait. I hope this is a 15-minute zone because, yes, this is a break and continuation entry for gold. Wait, no, it was 1973. 1963 was the other one. Yeah, 1963. This is a break and continuation on gold, possible break and continuation. This is a 15-minute time frame. Break and continuation buy. So possible break and continuation. But of course, if this candle closes all the way up here, that's not a trade I would take because price would be overextended. So this is the entry that I would want to take here for gold. So we'll see what. So if candle in the next 5 minutes, candle closes all the way here, trade is valid, yes, but price is just overextended. US 30, what were we looking at for US 30? Why did I have this trade set up right here? What was I looking for on US? Okay, possible break and continuation, but it did not validate, right? Because we are looking for sells. So there was nothing here. Okay. So there's no entry we are waiting for. Okay, wait. This is the only entry we are possibly waiting for. So I'll stick around for like 10 more minutes. If we don't get this entry, then that will be it for the day. It's already the hours of the day that I do not trade. But hopefully, either way, whether you use the 0.1% risk, 1%, 2%, even though I wouldn't advise anybody to go over 1% risk per trade, you still made money on that US 30 sell that we took. So I'll stick around for like 10 minutes. Hopefully we get this trade. So just keep in mind, 33 to, so what they're doing right now, they're faking out all those people. So if we go to the daily time frame right here, and we go to US 30 on the daily, that's the zone. So this is where the sellers are, or this is where the sellers stepped in during the last melt to the downside. And also you can see on the daily time frame, we have sort of this double sell SAR, but on the daily time frame, I don't do double SAR zones. And actually, it's not even a double because, and the reason I don't do that, daily candles are just too huge to give you like this double zones. Because here, as much as it might seem that these SARs are close together, the top one is 33,324, bottom one, 33,286. So that is like a 50 pips zone. My stop loss on US 30 is normally 50 pips. So what I think they're doing here, they stop hunting people who have sell orders here before they bring price back down. So 33,246, 247, 237 area, that's the current area that might give you the entry. But keep in mind, as much as we don't have any SARs here on the 1 minute time frame, as price starts spiking to the downside, guess what it's going to do? It's going to start creating sell SARs. So right now, your hope, or if you're looking for that sell, what you would want to be happening, and I don't want to use the word hope because you shouldn't be trading with hope as a trader, but what you should be wanting to see for US 30 is US 30 to keep pumping. You want US 30 to keep pumping so that that trend is, or that pump is over exhausted. And then you want US 30 to start coming back down and creating, you see like the one that just printed, that's perfect. So right now, what that SAR has just done for us, it's telling us, okay, previously there were no SARs all the way up here. So the strategy was telling us this is the only place that we could have waited for a sell. But right now, it's already printed that SAR right there. So it's telling us, okay, maybe I can give you like a sell entry right here. So let's see if we get that again. I'll see if I'll try to stick around for maybe 10 or so more minutes. But what I would want to see US 30 doing here is US 30 to keep pumping up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. On these larger time frames, we do have okay, this is I think this is a 4-hour zone. Yep. This is a double sell SAR on the 4-hour time frame, if I'm not wrong, because I didn't see anything. Yep. So it's a double sell SAR on the 4-hour time frame. So we might get a double sell SAR, but you can see we have sell zones. If US 30 wants to keep pumping, that's fine. For me, I have like sell zones all the way up there. But here we can possibly get a double sell SAR, excuse me, on the 4-hour time frame, possibly a test and rejection or a break and continuation. But you'd have to wait for till 9 p.m. for that trade to validate. So nothing really there. All right, so this is what I want, but I want price at this point. I need price to break down. And then I need a sell SAR to be formed somewhere here. So I think they're almost done faking out or stop hunting people. Now, this, I wish this was I wish this entry was based off of like a SAR strategy, because this would be an entry for a 1 minute live SAR, right? Break and continuation. But I don't advise you guys to make strategies. Like if the reason you've gone down to a 1 minute time frame from a 15-minute time frame was because of an SAR strategy, when you go down to the 1 minute time frame, don't enter a trade based off of the momentum strategy. Stick to the SAR strategy. If the reason you've gone down to the 1 minute time frame was based off of a 15-minute momentum strategy, which is what we are doing right now, when you go down to the 1 minute time frame, don't get an entry based off of the SAR strategy. Again, so your strategies should always follow you to the whatever, to all time frames. Because there's one time I think I've done that. I think I went down to the 1 minute time frame based off of a momentum strategy, and I entered a trade based off of the SAR strategy on the 1 minute, and I actually lost that trade. The reason I'm saying that is because this is a 1 minute break and continuation of a live SAR. So, right, I can see somebody taking that. So this is why I'm saying I wish this trade was based, or the reason we came down to the 1 minute was based off of the SAR, because this would be like a 1 minute live SAR setup. But unfortunately, based off of, why we came down to the 1 minute time frame wasn't because of the SAR strategy, but because of the momentum strategy. So now here, what I want to see, this is exactly what I want to see, exactly what's happening. I want those spikes to the upside, because if I turn on the moving average, so keep in mind, your moving average filter should be on right now. If you don't have a moving average filter, you'll just have a bunch of everything. So you don't want that. And here, for me, I'm looking for sales. So I turn on the sales only. I have the moving average filter, so that will take off all the noise, will help you filter out what signals are above or below the moving average. So whatever's happening on US 30 right now, I want it to keep happening. I want exactly what's happening, because I can tell right now, price is, if I turn on my moving average, price has probably broken above the moving average. Yep, you can see price has broken above the moving average. And then guess what's going to happen? When price breaks back down below the moving average, it will give me that momentum sell on the 1 minute time frame. And then hopefully by then that candle won't be the lowest candle of the move. And then that will give a nice momentum push to the downside. So that's the thought process. So exactly what's happening, I want price to stick above the moving average right now. But then I want to see those, you can see those wicks from the upside, right? I want to see those wicks being formed so that price can now break down to the, so if you have the moving average filter on, you don't need to have the moving average on your chart. Oh, see how some of these other accounts are doing. Again, if you guys have any questions, now is a good time to ask. Okay. I'm curious to see what's going on. I would have expected daily bullish low. No, that was the beginning of the day. Right. Gold didn't do much. So EU might not close below this sell SAR, actually. Now let's look at EU real quick. EU, this is a break and continuation entry on EU. We have a bunch of zones for EU. I don't think EU will sell off. It's tried to break below that daily SAR for days and days, but every time, God, give me 1 second. I know I duplicated some charts today. It's tried to close below that. It has like an hour and a half. There's too much buying power here for EU. Yeah, I don't think they'll close below.
How many days has it been? EU on buy
Oh,
bias. I think it's like
it's been like 2 weeks. Tuesday,
yeah.
October 10th. Yeah, it's headed to a month.
Yeah, I think it might close below. I'm just surprised gold didn't get lower than where it's at. It's probably gonna drop Friday.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for NFP will probably be crazy. Okay, so gold, possible break and continuation. So this validated, right? It validated, but the trade setup validated there. So at this point, you go ahead and mark up the person who entered on validation. Where would they achieve a 1:1 risk to reward? They would achieve 1:1 right here. So you would expect, you would want, actually want is a better way. You would want for price to come back and tap you into this trade before giving that person a 1:1. Yeah, it's not too high. It's only 60 pips high. So, but along the way, I think gold has this current candle. These are some of, I think I'll delete these zones. They're just too close together. I hate when zones are close together. We have two 1979. Maybe I can merge it. 1978.8. 197. No, it's two. It can't be merged. So there's two right here. So this continuation candle acted as a break candle because right here we have this zone on the upside is a double by SAR, and this zone on the downside is another double by SAR. So there might be another entry forming, another setup validating here. But that's why I normally say if you have three setups that are validated, always wait for the optimal one. So at this point, actually, so this break and continuation validated two 15-minute zones, validated this bottom zone right here. So it validated this. So this is no longer possible. Give me 1 sec. This is no longer possible. It's a outright break and continuation. If I copy this and paste this, this will be another. Tomorrow will be a better trading day. There's just, so this setup has validated this zone and that zone. So yep, there's that zone and that zone. But you always want to wait for the optimal setup. So the optimal setup that can give you the best probability is the 1973 area. But what I would love is for this person who's already in this trade to actually be given 1:1 risk to reward, because this just gets risky. When you have one break and continuation validating like three SAR zones, sometimes that is just a bit too much. Let's see if we can. It's 3:23. I'll stick on for 7 more minutes. After that, I will be done. So if we don't get this US30 sell by then, that will be it for me. Some backtesting I'm doing on the strategy tester. October. Let me see if I can do. Oh, that's much faster. Yeah, I don't think they'll bring this thing down anytime soon. What's up, Steven?
What's going on?
I just saw you. You're out there killing the market with your. But today's FOMC has been. I don't know how it was. It was just. You say what?
Oh no, I was like, oh there you go. I thought my sound was off for a second.
Yeah, today's. I think NFP will be crazy. FOMC was a dud. I mean, we caught a nice sell on US30, but price movement is just trash today.
Yeah, price is pretty trash unless you were long since the open.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. US 30 moves differently, so I haven't been watching.
Yeah,
Now just moved up.
we got a nice sell. I took off my TP because I thought it was gonna flash. I was going for like a 3%, but I got trailed out of price. I'm waiting. Oh, there it is. I'm waiting for this last setup. If I get into this setup, I'll probably, well, you guys shouldn't do as I do, but personally, I'll probably go in a nice bunch.
Dang, it's late.
Right? I don't even trade post 3 p.m. But the setups, like I've noticed during FOMC, 2:45, 3 p.m. and 3:15 gives like now the direction the market is about to take for the rest of the night.
You're just gonna hold it overnight then, basically.
Nah, I'm going I'm going in and out. Nah. it should hit like pretty quick if we get it. Let's see. Where do you see EU going?
Let's see. If we pull back, it's gonna pull back to
because they've been trying to close it below this daily SAR, but there's a bunch of buyers supporting this thing a good amount.
I mean, if we are gonna pull back, I'll say we pull back to around 1059.
Oh yeah, around this zone. Come on, US 30. Okay. I need that sell. Now, here's the issue with putting on the moving average. I'm pretty sure there's a sell setup without the moving average filter. But, guys, never break your rules. Because if you take off the moving average filter, but I need US 30 to come back up. Because if I apply the moving average, and you'll see price is below the moving average right now, but for us to get the sell, we need a retracement. Because if US 30 keeps dumping right now, it's not going to give us the sell signal because price will constantly remain below the moving average. But what I would want right here, I need price to go back and break above the moving average and then now close below it. So, come on. And gold is almost, so 1983 critical sell area for gold. But given the time of day, I think they're just going to fake out and sell. Gold might go back to 2000 before NFP, and then NFP but remember 1983 critical sell area for me on gold. My best trade ever, or not ever, best trade setup is buy on gold at 1963.4. That is where the daily buyers stepped in on the daily time frame for gold. That is where, using the momentum indicator, we can see that gold buyers came in. And you can start thinking of this momentum indicator, especially on the daily time frame, as showing you order blocks similar, but I don't want to, since we already have an order block indicator, I don't want to mix those up. But you can see that zone 19. So I think the reason they might tap this 1963 on Friday. The reason gold is not breaking, and for me, I'm still bullish on gold, but the reason gold is not breaking, or maybe did not break today, you can see we have some SARs right here on the daily time frame, and they're pretty close to each other. So we do have buyers that are sitting here. So that's another reason why you guys saw this pull back to the upside, and gold did not get to gold did not get to our 1963 area, because these buyers who are sitting between 1970 and 1963 are propping price down. Okay, perfect. This is what I want to happen for US 30. US 30 has broken back above the moving average. I now need them to break US 30 back down, because if it breaks back down, we will get that sell signal based off of the moving average filter. And then keep in mind, I need that sell to happen. I like how we've created this SARs right here on the 1 minute. So remember, we still need to follow these rules. We need to make sure. So these rules still need to play out. So whatever happens, this rule still need to play. So it doesn't mean that, like right now, if a sell signal is printed, which wouldn't be printed because price is above the moving average, but let's assume price was below the moving average and a sell signal got printed, it wouldn't be a valid sell because this previous candle had not rejected off of an SAR. So I need these candles to come down so that they can reject off of these SARs to the downside, because we need to make sure these three requirements need to be satisfied. No debate on that. Visual order, bring to front. Yeah, it's already 3:31. I don't think we'll get this trade set up. I'd say that would be done at 3:30. Let's see. Can we push it to 3:45? Let's see. You can see also, I would have wanted us to have caught that gold sell, but you can see, unfortunately, price did not tap 1983, the zone we had marked up before FOMC. So it came so close. So this would have been such a nice trade if price had filled us in. But for right now, this sell on gold to me is a bit risky, because if gold breaks this zone 1983, we're going to 2000 and maybe 2010 before NFP, and during NFP they possibly drop that, drop gold. What I would have wanted to see today for gold, I would have wanted them to create a sell SAR on the daily time frame. But right now, gold is still bullish. Wait, where is US 30 at? 33,326. So I like how, so US 30, if you guys look at it, on the daily time frame, US 30 is rejecting at the daily sell SAR. So this is what caused my change in the daily bias for US 30 to bearish. So it's exactly at that zone. So that's another reason US 30 is rejecting to the downside. See, that's SAR. Give me one. Okay. It's rejecting off of, and if you guys remember, I told you guys, when price comes back to the zone that gave you a change in bias, you normally have one shot and one shot only. I wish I'd seen that, because we could have taken the sell at that high, at where this 33,321 is. I would need SARs as well. No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, let's see if it comes down. I'll stay for like 7 or so more minutes. I need US 30 to calm down and give us that sell right here. But we already know that this zone, at the high of that candle, that's where the SAR on the daily time frame is. Because if we go, the SAR that caused, or that led me to change my bias from bullish to bearish for US 30 was created at 33,329. So 33,329 right there. So which is where US 30 is rejecting. I wish we had an SAR right there, because I would have taken that sell. But right now, so that's definitely a selling area. But it's the reason you want SARs is so that they can act as resistance or support points for your trade. Because right here, as much as I would like to take a sell on US 30 right now, just based off of the fact that it's rejecting off of a daily SAR that caused me to change my bias from bullish to bearish, I would have wanted to see SARs at the top, because remember, you still need that rejection, that SAR rejection. So you just don't want to take a trade without SARs supporting your price or resisting your trade. So what I would want here, I would want price to come back down. I would want like a heavy momentum candle that brings price below this zone. But I really would have wanted to take a sell up there. But you can still take the trades again. If anything I'm talking about lines up, because not everybody trades like me, but definitely 33,329. That's an amazing sell area for US30. But I just do not have any confluences for me to enter the sell at that point. Gold. So here for gold, if we go back to this setup, so it's already given the person who took the validated trade, the break and continuation trade that validated for these two zones has already achieved a 1:1, right? So the person who took the trade validated there, that person has already achieved a 1:1. So at this point, I go ahead and delete this. I have no need of waiting for a retracement because I would be waiting for a retracement for a trade that somebody else is already at break even for. Also, if you guys remember, I told you this top zone is also a double sell SAR. So this was another entry right here. Actually, the closure of that candle on gold was another entry because it was also a break and continuation. It was also a break and continuation. Because this zone, this top zone right here was a double by SAR on the 15-minute time frame. So you can see that this was your break candle and this was your continuation candle. Again, for me, yes, the entry would have allowed you to be next to your SARs because the SARs we're trading, if you zoom to the left, is just these two top ones right here. So that would have allowed you to take that trade. But for me, I wouldn't have taken it because this push to the upside, these two candles validated two other SAR zones, this one and this one right here, and actually another middle one. So remember when I told you guys about the optimal setup? So if this was the only SAR that had validated, I would have wanted us to take this trade. But given that we had other SARs below where price was, like right here and right here and right here, that had also been validated previously, that was a red flag because ideally you're taking a buy on the top SAR, and that's similar to like buying highs and selling lows. So as much as it's in profit, or we would have been at a 1:1, again, that would have been like breaking my rules of not taking the optimal setup. So even at this point, there's no need for anybody to be waiting for a retracement if you're not, or if you didn't take this trade, because anybody who took this trade would have already been at a 1:1 risk to reward. So at this point, you go ahead and delete and you start over from scratch and you wait for other trade setups for gold. I think tomorrow will be a much better trading day. And I also think this US 30 will give a much better and setup that follows all the requirements.
Oh no, because we got NFP Friday. It might be a fix out there tomorrow too.
Yeah, but post FOMC, you normally have a big
might be trades tonight.
Yeah, tonight, like maybe 11 p.m. or 1 p.m. I do expect a heavy trend to, and if I am almost sure US 30 will dip so heavily today. So that's why I want to, and if I catch this trade, honestly, I'm going to trail it the same way I wanted to trail the other one. And it's just like patience. Like I don't want to FOMO into a trade. I want to be in a trade that I have my probabilities that, oh, this trade is, the probabilities are in my favor. So if I catch this trade, I'll probably trade what is it called? I'll probably trail this trade. So I'll probably go for a 1:3. If I do take this trade, I'll probably do 50 pips stop loss and 150 pips TP, and I set break even at a 1:2. So that's what I want to do for this trade. I just want to see if we get validation during the session. At 3:39. Yeah. At this point, what is it? 3:40 p.m. Every time I say that, price starts coming back down. I don't think we're gonna get anything here. We just need momentum because we're trading. Remember, if you're trading the momentum strategy, you want momentum, you want movement in the market. You don't want markets to start consolidating or liquidity to die down. Gold just has too many zones. I hate when my chart has a lot of zones. It's just annoying. So US 30 did not even get there. Okay, that's good momentum. Did anybody have any confluences and is already in a sell? Or you guys are still? And remember what I told you guys, right? So same thing I told you guys. If I was in a sell, right, my stop loss would be over where? 3? So if we apply the markups indicators again, we'll see those zones, right? So I was talking about if you're in a sell, you make sure your stop loss at the very most, because here I have like a high probability US 30 is going to tank. It's just like a matter of time. Personally, for me, the reason I'm careful is because I'm using a 50 pip stop loss. So I really don't want to get faked out. But if you're using like 100 pip stop loss, if I was using 100 pip stop loss, I would have been in a sell on US 30 already, like at that high. But because I'm using a 50 pip stop loss, I just want to make sure I don't get faked out. But if you remember, if we have these markups, we are around, what's that sell area? 270, 270, 282, 273. So that's the critical selling area. We also have that 4-hour bearish high right there. If we turn on the zones indicator, we have, we have nothing but sellers up here. Let's see if that's going to load at that point. Yep, we have a bunch of sellers sitting here. So everything is just pointing to a sell. It's just for me, I want to make sure I don't get faked out before the sell happens. If you do take this trade, what were we up? We were up 0.5% for the day. If you took the trade with 0.25% risk, I wouldn't recommend you risk. Okay, in short, if we do get this trade set up and you take it, make sure you're not risking the full profits we just made from the other US 30 sell. So if you made 0.5%, if you want, you can risk 0.5%. Worst case, you end the day at break even. But if not, you can risk maybe 0.25%. That way, if you lose the trade, you're only minus 0.2. No, you're actually still up for the day, like 0.25% if you hadn't already been in losses before. Okay, so this is exactly what I want. So price is above the moving average. Now I need price to start coming back below the moving average. Um, 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 Anyway, I think that will be it for me. Market is super dead. If you guys have the indicators, just observe that trade. If I get it, I won't send it out in the group. The reason I won't send it out in the group, I do not personally trade between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. The reason I would trade today is because I've seen how FOMC moves in the past. And I want to try and do like a 1:3 risk to reward. Also, I normally don't send trades, I don't send official trades in the Discord between 3 and 11 p.m. Eastern time. I may send trade ideas, but if I do get this set up, if I send it, I'll probably send it as a trade idea, but it won't be an official trade. But for the official trade today, we had like a win for a nice 0.5% gain. And at this point, I'm just, and you can see that resistance for gold around that zone. At this point, I'm just a little too tired and momentum is just dying down for the day. So other than that, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you guys had a preview of what happens during FOMC. It didn't move as much as I would have wanted, so maybe we can do like a live stream during NFP on Friday. If so, I'll let you guys know and we'll send a link out. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow.